Hello, students. Today I'd like to talk to you about gerunds and infinitives. These are hybrid forms of nouns and verbs. Like nouns, they can be used in subject and object position. Like verbs, they themselves can take objects. Let's look at infinitives first. Infinitives sound a bit weird as subjects. To err is human is a quote from Shakespeare, so it's pretty old-fashioned. A more modern way of saying this is, it's human to make a mistake. This is a common pattern with infinitives. Here are some useful sentence patterns. Pause the video and study the sentences on the slide. Now let's talk a bit about gerunds. All verbs form gerunds by adding ing to the base verb. Let's compare. Meeting new people is fun. Here, meeting is the subject. It's a gerund. I'm meeting my new boss at 3 p.m. Here, meeting is part of the verb am meeting. Meeting Groucho Marx, T.S. Eliot remarked, "That's quite a cigar." Here, meeting is a participle and a reduced adverb clause. The full adverb clause would be, when he was meeting Groucho Marx. We only call it a gerund if it is acting as a subject or object. What about agreement? Usually, gerunds take singular verbs. Sleeping on the couch is no fun. Don't be confused if the object of the gerund is plural. The gerund is still singular. However, we can make a compound subject with gerunds that takes a plural verb. Talking to a girl and flirting with a girl are two different things. Often the subject of the main clause is understood as the subject of the gerund. Dan is obsessed with going to the mall. If the subject is different, we need to express it. With gerunds, the rule is to use a possessive noun. Sheila is curious about Dan's constantly going to the mall. However, people usually drop the possessive these days. Sheila is curious about Dan constantly going to the mall. With infinitives, we use the preposition for. It was common for Dan to go to the mall once a day. You should always use a gerund after a preposition. I am not happy about finding a mess in the kitchen. This rule has very few exceptions. In fact, the only exception is the infinitive itself, which is formed by the preposition to followed by the base form. It's not nice to find a mess in the kitchen. You will recognize this sentence as a typical infinitive pattern used with adjectives. Be careful, however. Sometimes to is a regular preposition. I object to your messing up the kitchen. There are only a few verbs like that. You can study them on the next slide. Someone objects to doing something. Someone is opposed to doing something. Someone is committed to doing something. Someone looks forward to doing something. Okay, let's do an exercise. Which of the two sentences is correct? Pause the video and consider your answer. There was no interview as the newspaper didn't know about Brian won the second race, or there was no interview as the newspaper didn't know about Brian's winning the second race. Okay, did you choose B? After the preposition about, we use the gerund. The subject of the gerund is a possessive. Okay, let's move on. A verb that takes an object will still take an object as a gerund or infinitive. A verb that is used with a preposition will still use that preposition. We say, I am interested in astronomy. When interested becomes an infinitive, it still takes in. I didn't expect to be interested in astronomy. You can look at this mathematically. Someone expects to do something plus someone is interested in something equals someone expects to be interested in something. Then you just follow the pattern. Of course, you can change the tense and make the verb negative if you need to. Questions and conditionals follow the same pattern, even though the word order is a little different. Take a look at the model sentence, someone announces something to someone. Knowing that, which of the sentences below is correct? Pause the video and choose an answer. Okay, did you choose B? This sentence follows the verb's pattern. It's important to do something plus someone announces something to someone equals it is important to announce something to someone. That gives us the answer. It's important to announce the decision to the delegates. Let's do one last practice with this. Which of the sentences is correct? Pause the video and choose an answer. To find the correct answer, add up the sentences and follow the pattern. Someone is curious about something plus someone is opposed to something equals someone is curious about someone's being opposed to something. That gives us the correct answer, D. I am curious about your being opposed to the development. When you learn the underlying sentence patterns, it's easy to form complex sentences with gerunds and infinitives. One final point. Gerunds and infinitives sometimes contrast with each other and reflect a difference in meaning. Never forget to help your aged parents is a reminder to do a task. Never forget helping your aged parents is a memory. The infinitive refers to the future and the gerund refers to the past. We see this same distinction with remember. Let's do one last exercise. Pause the video and decide which sentence is correct. That's right, A is correct. We are talking about a memory, albeit a future memory. For more practice with gerunds and infinitives, please see the web links section of the course.